berth if they beat the Giants next weekend and the Lions lose, and then the Packers-Lions is not a tie. Let's get deeper into the Redskins with my good buddy, Joe Theismann. Joe joins us here on CBS Sports Radio. Joe, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tiki, and happy holidays to everyone. I hope Christmas was a wonderful time for everybody yesterday.
No, it definitely was. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you as well. As you watched this Redskins team on Saturday against the Bears, obviously we knew they were going to beat them. They're a little bit compromised Chicago at this point. But after the letdown of a week ago, I mean, how big was this rebound, not only for the Redskins, but more importantly for Kirk Cousins?
Well, I think it just shows the resiliency of this football team, Tiki. I've said this since the beginning of the year. There's two things about the Redskin football team this year. Number one, they're a 60-minute football team. They will fight you for 60 minutes. They may get down by 14. They may get up by 14, but it seems like every game boils down to the last possession. And in the NFC, I think they're as good as anybody they play. I mean, you look at a game like Chicago where they pick off five passes. Kirk Cousins, I thought, did some things in that game that were a little bit different than he'd done all year, and that was use his legs a bit more.
Yep.
He scrambled out of the pocket. He made some plays. I mean, they called the read option runs for him down around the goal line. But the big difference was he slid around, made some throws, made some plays. You know, he misses Deshaun on a long pass, and it's like, and I've likened it to this. When Michael Jordan shot a jump shot, we all expected it to go in.
Yeah.
And if it didn't go in, you go, whoa, I can't believe that. With Kirk, with his accuracy the way it is at every level, when an incomplete pass happens, you go, gee, that's unusual.
Yeah.
I thought he really stepped up.
Yeah, I think he did, because there's so many questions after the loss of the Carolina Panthers. They didn't run the ball well at all in that game. They were under 30 yards, I think, rushing last weekend. But everybody wants to question the quarterbacks when things go awry. Kirk Cousins has been living under that question all season long, really because of his potential contract going forward. What are they going to pay him, and what is this offseason going to be like? Or how is it going to be different than it was last offseason where they just franchised him and he said, let me go prove it? I think he's proven it.
I do, too. I agree with you. I mean, how much more of a body of work do you need to look at to get the idea that this guy's got to be your quarterback? I think there's a couple things you look at the quarterback position. Number one, who's available on your football team to take over if you let him go? Number two, who's available in the marketplace that you could pick up that economically would save you money? See, the part of the problem the Redskins have is you've also got Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon, both on free agent contracts. Now, you can't franchise all three of them. If they franchise Kirk for another year, it'll be $24 million. Well, that knocks the living daylights out of your cap, even if it's going to 166.
Yeah.
See, I think the best thing to do is, and I look at it this way, Teague, and I've looked at a lot of the big contracts, the Jay Cutlers, the Matthew Staffords, all the big contracts, Joe Flacco's. You know, Cutler's was $126 million. I think Kirk's contract should be between $110 and $120, $30 million bonus, 3-year injury guarantee somewhere in the neighborhood of $25 to $30 million. And the deal would be 7 years long. That way you can absorb it through the length of the contract because you can prorate that number. Gives you a chance to work with one and hopefully one or the other wide receiver or both of them. But it gives you some flexibility. But to franchise him after what he's done, I think sends the wrong message to everybody on the football team.
Yeah, I agree. He deserves that. I mean, that's what he's completed 67% of his passes this year for 4,600 yards and 24 touchdowns. We're talking to Joe Theismann here on CBS Radio. What would be the reason not to? Give me the counter. Why would you not think that Kurt is your guy?
The only counter that they could possibly or even conceivably consider is we just want to see a little bit more, and that's absurd. So, I mean, you can sit down and say, is he injury prone? No. Does he rattle? No. Is he erratic? No. Does he have accuracy issues? No. Does he have decision problems? No. The only real problem this offense has is red zone efficiency. Yeah. They're not very good in the red zone. But, you know, that's the ability not to run the football
Yeah.
as much as anything.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think to look for a reason to say why not is hard. Plus, you've invested 3 years in the kid.
Yeah.
I mean, you put that investment into making him what he is today, and all of a sudden you throw that to the wind and start over.
Yeah, and
Nate Sudfeld's not the answer.
Yeah, no, and then go let someone else take advantage of it, right? Because there's few teams that are desperate for quarterbacks. Someone else will go benefit from what Kirk Cousins has learned under Jay Gruden's regime. Tell me about Sean McVay, Joe, because obviously his name is popping up a little bit as one of those hot, put that in quotes, hot offensive coordinators that could potentially get a head coaching job somewhere. What has he done? How has he helped this situation?
Well, there's a couple things about Sean. I like to spend a lot of time with him because I just love continuing to learn what these offenses are today because they're different than when you and I played.
Yeah, of course.
To be honest with you, I mean it's a wide open offense. Sean has a tireless work ethic. Worked under John Gruden. Gruden slept 3 hours a night, so that gives you an idea of Sean's work ethic. He's a bright young mind. He's sort of nurtured Kirk Cousins along. He has the ability to adapt. Now, people may not understand this, but it's much more difficult to be an offensive coordinator and figure out how to distribute the football when you have a Jamison Crowder, a Deshaun Jackson, a Pierre Garçon, a Jordan Reed. I mean, you basically have 4 guys that on any other team could be superstars.
Yeah.
Now you have to figure out how to distribute the football, and you have to figure out how to run the ball.
Do you think he can be head coach?
I think he has. Yes, I think he has the potential. He has the organizational skills to be a head coach. And as far as his age goes, those things go out the window. I think the number one candidate right now is probably Josh McDaniel.
Yeah.
I would think he would be the one that everybody's looking.
Yeah,
but
it seems about time.
Sean McVay certainly has to be the other guy that you have to look at. You look at Adam Gase down in Miami. You look at Ben McAdoo up in New York. You've got very young coaches. And you're dealing with young players. These kids are coming out of college. Now you got somebody who could relate to him.
Yeah.
He demands excellence, which I love.
And that's
I sit in the meetings. He really demands excellence, and I love the fact that he doesn't cut any guys slack, and he has a great ability to communicate and teach.
Yeah. No, that's the most important thing, especially with the way we want young quarterbacks to get it right away. We're talking to Joe Theismann here, former Redskins quarterback. Obviously, Joe, your career ended with a compound fibula and tibia fracture. What advice would you give Derek Carr right now? Because he's sitting in a situation where his team's got to go forward without him. Matt McGloin's got to take the helm. But he had such a fantastic year and was one of those young guys that you just loved to see his success.
It was like an MVP. I think did he only break the fibula?
Yeah, I think he only did his fib. So I mean, it's relatively short. Obviously, yours was both, and it was compound. But
well, actually, you see, Tiki, when I played in Canada, my second year in 1972, I actually just broke the fibula. I broke that bone first.
Oh, wow!
So I've been through what he's been through, and to see. And Marcus Mariota had the same situation. I think Lockett had a terrible injury. This was a horrible weekend for injuries.
Yeah, you're
right.
But
as far as Derek goes, the fact is as long as there's no ligament damage, it's a bone that's going to heal, and you can't even rot it because it's the smaller bone.
Yeah.
But it'll come back. It'll heal. You can wear a sort of padding around it to protect it from getting kicked, possibly. Now it's like, hey, he was an MVP candidate. He did everything he could to get this football team where they are. Now it's a question of supporting the next man up. When you know what it's like with injuries.
Yep.
You just feel lost.
Yeah, you do, and
it's
you can't afford it at this point.
A player could have.
You're right, and especially at this point in the season with the Raiders, you got to feel so good about themselves, 12-3. I think surpassing everybody's expectations, and now it's like, that natural that comes. You got to figure out how to fight it. That's where Jack Del Rio's job is really going to come into play.
Well, it's up to the other guys too, and we all know this. Now it's up to the other guys to say, all right, look, Derek's not there, but we need to do a little bit more. We need to help as much as we can. Defense, do a little bit more. Teams, maybe you get a play out of teams. Offense, line need to do a little bit more. Let's not use Derek's injury as an excuse why we can't continue to go forward.
Yeah, I agree with you. Joe Theismann, appreciate you, my friend. Good chatting with you. As always, happy holiday. Have a safe new year.